The Internet Protocol is the Internet's core technology to transfer information between systems. And for over 25 years, Internet Protocol version 4, or IPv4, has been the core underlying technology enabling services such as the Internet, web browsing, email, and mobile smartphones. However, as a result of the Internet's growth, IPv4 is running out of unique addresses and therefore unable to provide a unique address to each Internet-connected system. To overcome the exhaustion of IPv4 addresses, the Internet Protocol version 6, IPv6, has been developed, with enough addressing capability to allow the foreseeable future growth of the Internet. IPv6 has several design features that set it apart from IPv4, particularly in the areas of auto-configuration, mobility, and extensibility. However, the main benefit of IPv6 is increased address space. IPv6 affects every network, so there is no do-nothing option. This animation complements the technical paper titled Security Implications of IPv6, which can be found on www.cpni.gov.uk, as well as the document titled Security Assessment of IPv6. The security implications of the basic IPv6 protocol are, in general, very similar to those of IPv4. However, a number of factors make the IPv6 protocol suite challenging from a security standpoint. IPv6 implementations are much less mature than their IPv4 counterparts. Security products such as firewalls and network intrusion detection systems have less support for the IPv6 protocols than for their IPv4 counterparts. Compared with IPv6 products, IPv4 products generally offer better security features, either in terms of the variety of products, the variety of features, or performance. This might make it difficult to enforce exactly the same policies in IPv6 networks as in IPv4 networks. A number of transition and coexistence technologies have been developed to aid in the deployment of IPv6 and the coexistence of IPv6 with the IPv4 protocol. These technologies will, however, increase complexity. Finally, technical personnel have less confidence with the IPv6 protocols than with their IPv4 counterparts. IPv6 is not backwards compatible with IPv4. This means that, at least during the transition period, IPv6 will need to operate in parallel with IPv4. This has a number of security and operational implications. Running a dual stack, which runs IPv4 and IPv6 simultaneously, increases the network's complexity. Dual stack nodes need to implement two different sets of protocols. Network administrators need to configure two different sets of protocols. Security administrators need to enforce security policies for two different sets of protocols, and so on. At core routers, support of both IPv4 and IPv6 protocols generally means that two instances of routing protocols and routing tables must be supported. This increases the complexity of the network and the available attack surface, and may increase hardware requirements. Network Address Translators, or NAT, provide a number of benefits in networks, such as reduced host exposure, host privacy and masquerading, as well as topology hiding. The IPv4 Internet architecture has incorporated the use of NAT originally as a stopgap mechanism for the imminent exhaustion of the IPv4 address space. As IPv6 allows the assignment of at least one public address to each device connected to the Internet, it is claimed that IPv6 network architectures will not accommodate NAT devices. This would drastically change the architecture of most current networks in which NAT isolate internal nodes from the public Internet, unless communication has been initiated from the internal realm of the NAT, i.e. the internal network. With IPv6, the exposure of internal nodes to the public Internet would increase. However, the deployment of IPv6 does not necessarily imply a return to end-to-end connectivity. It also doesn't preclude network architectures similar to those achieved today through the use of NAT. For instance, it is very likely that IPv6 will be deployed in enterprises along with a perimeter firewall that only allows packets to traverse the firewall from the external realm to the internal realm if communication was initiated from the internal realm. A number of transition technologies have been developed to aid in the deployment of IPv6 and the coexistence of IPv6 with IPv4 deployments. Some of these technologies aid in the deployment of IPv6 by enabling communication between islands of one network protocol across networks that employ some other network protocol. This is achieved with the tunneling paradigm, in which one network protocol is encapsulated within another. While this functionality is valuable, it increases complexity with consequent security implications. For example, tunnels may introduce denial-of-service attack vectors and may prevent network security devices from enforcing the same security controls that they can readily enforce on non-tunneled traffic. Many applications currently do not support IPv6 or have only recently been updated to incorporate IPv6 support. This makes them less mature than their IPv4-only counterparts. It is very likely that they will reveal a number of vulnerabilities before their maturity matches that of IPv4 applications. Note that application security is not likely to be affected by IPv6 itself, but by a lack of secure software development practices, as it is still the case in IPv4. Even if an organization has no concrete plans to deploy IPv6 in the near term, it is highly likely that the network will be affected by IPv6 issues beyond its immediate control. It is recommended that network and security staff be trained on the IPv6 protocol suite. In addition, experimentation in network laboratories can help build expertise before network and security teams are urged to deploy the IPv6 protocols in production networks. As a minimum, a transition plan should be produced to include a requirements analysis to identify scope, a sequencing plan for implementation, development of IPv6 policies and mechanisms, development of training for key team members, development of a test plan for compatibility and interoperability, maintenance and monitoring programs, an ongoing update plan for critical architecture, and finally, a plan for the phased withdrawal from service of IPv4 services and equipment. By being more aware of the security implications of IPv6, businesses can make a secure transition and continue to enjoy the new possibilities offered by IP communications. And they can do so securely. For a copy of the technical paper on security implications, please visit our website www.cpni.gov.uk.